So proportions are what we have if we have one fraction equals another fraction. And fraction, or you might hear the word ratio, right? So fraction and ratio, same thing. So if I have one fraction equals another fraction, this is the one and only time in mathematics where you can cross multiply. So when we say cross multiply, we multiply these two numbers together and we set it equal to what we get when we multiply these two numbers together. So the product of the extremes equals the product of the means, you might have heard it said. It only works if it's one fraction by itself on one side of the equal sign equals another fraction all by itself. No extra plus or minus terms, right, on the edges. So I've set up two different proportions here that we're going to solve. So the first one, x plus 1 over 3 equals x over 5. So it's a proportion. One fraction equals one fraction. So one and only time we get to cross multiply. So go ahead. So 5 times, be a little bit careful on that first one. It's 5 times both terms in the numerator of the left fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap parentheses around it. And by it, I mean the part that has two terms in it, both the x and the plus 1. I don't want to wrap the parentheses around the 5 because the 5 has to multiply, has to distribute right through that binomial. So there's that product and then equals, and now we multiply this direction, 3 times x. After you cross multiply, then you're at the solve what's left stage. So I have 5 in front of parentheses, so I'll distribute. So 5x plus 5 equals 3x. And now I have a linear equation, which means all my x's get on one side, all my numbers get on the other. I have two x terms, so I'm going to go ahead and put mine on the right side. So subtract 5x from both sides. So on the left they add away, leaves me the 5 equaling 3x minus 5x is minus 2x. So then remember, how do I get rid of the minus 2? It's not adding 2 because the operation I'm breaking is the one between the negative 2 and the x, and that operation is multiplication. So break the multiplication with division. Negative 2 divided by negative 2, those cancel. And it gets me x equals, so I guess I have a lot of things to talk about. 5 over negative 2, totally fine way to write that answer. A lot of times what's going to happen is people are going to write the negative sign up with the 5. It just feels better. Or maybe you'll write it just off to the side with your division line. But I'm sure you can see why that would be challenging, because now is it really a negative fraction, or did my pen just have a little glitch while I was writing my fraction bar? So the negative sign can live in any one of those three places. The most common, right, the smiley face place, is that one. Okay, let's start the next one. So again, multiply, cross multiply. 4 times 2x equals 1 times 3x plus 1. So when I look at the left-hand side, it's everybody's multiplying, right? See how that's different from the example we just did? The 4 doesn't distribute like the 5 did, because the 5, right, it was multiplying a binomial, two separate terms separated by that plus sign right there. Here it's just 4 times 2 times x. You just multiply. So 4 times 2, doing a little associative law of multiplication there. So 8x is what we get on the left. And then on the right, 1 times anything doesn't change it, so I can just drop those parentheses. And now solving for x. So grab all your x terms together on one side. We'll do that by subtracting 3x from both sides. 8x minus 3x is 5x. The x carries along. You subtract the coefficients. Equals, right, they canceled on the right like they were supposed to. Leaves behind the 1. 5 times x, get the x by itself by division. Divide by 5. X equals 1/5.